children well when you visit FamilyMinute.org. Welcome back to Disciples View. I'm Todd Herman. We'll get to Tower Mountain. A bit of a longer cleanup item than we normally do. I think it's important for you to know there's some independent journalists to get really important stories. Jonathan Cho was fired as a journalist in Seattle because he made the tremendous mistake of who, what, where, when, why. He was sent to Olympia, Washington to cover an Antifa riot, which he was supposed to call a protest. And at this riot, there was an attempt to murder by way of shooting a guy who was with a group called the Proud Boys. And we weren't, Jonathan Cho was not supposed to go talk to a Proud Boy, just talk to one side. He made the mistake of talking to one of the participants. What does it feel like to be shot at? And for that, my understanding is he was fired. But Jonathan Cho has turned that around. He's an independent journalist with and distributed through a couple different organizations. Now I think he does a lot through TPUSA, Charlie Kirk's, the late Charlie Kirk's organization. So Jonathan Cho revealed multiple kids found living in Oakland, California's homeless drug encampments.
I've seen now several children staying in this encampment behind me, living in trash. Oakland PD was called to assess the situation. Officer, I just couldn't believe it. I'm glad you're here, but we just saw a child there. You guys are talking to a child. Is everything okay?
There's people, there's whole families, there's adults, there's juveniles, there's pets.
There are kids living out here.
There's kids living in our facility.
So why isn't, like, the state called in to get the kids out of here?
I don't have all of that just for you, right? Okay. I can't.
No, I just want to do this. Charles, I'm okay, Charlie,
No, she's not.
okay. You've got a mom and a child. How old's your baby?
He is almost 2 months, actually.
And you've been living out here with the baby for how long?
For a minute now. I've been pregnant out here.
Now, see, this is going on in Oakland, California. It turns out that this is a city that was run by who? Democrats. This is Kamala Harris's home district. And Jonathan Cho revealed that multiple kids, Jonathan Cho interviewed a local woman who tries to help these people.
All right, so there's children living out here.
There are some children that's living out here.
That's crazy.
Like this young lady, she went into labor. She used to come to one of our shower services because once upon a time last year we did portable shower services.
So you got diapers here, you got bottles, you got tarps.
She went and bought these for her.
Well, why are there so many kids out here?
If the politicians and the mayor do a little something more than what's being done, then things can change around. Because once upon a time, if they had 12 complaints or more on a property that wasn't being taken care of, Alameda County was supposed to seize that property.
As you can see, I'm very tired. And not really too much for him. He's great. It's just this environment is tiring.
Now, this may sound completely foreign. It's not to me. The West Coast is replete with this. This is course of business. I once interviewed a police officer who was called to I-5, the main freeway through downtown Seattle. They came upon a homeless camp that was in the business of digging a tunnel under the freeway. They literally were that industrious as meth addicts to dig a tunnel under the freeway so they didn't have to walk across the freeway. They'd stolen metal supplies, and they'd stolen drills, and saws. It was incredible. It was an industrial level tunnel. I mean, you could go get a construction job, but why do that? And sitting there in the dirt on a hillside above the freeway, where that little baby could have rolled down onto the freeway, was a pre-walking child in a just filthy diaper, rolling around on the ground with spent heroin needles. The officer called CPS. He made some arrests. That whole situation repeated itself a couple days later because CPS said that they preferred to have the child stay with the parents. That's your West Coast. Now, as frustrating as it can be for placing supposedly wise people, like West Coast governors, on tall towers of shaking sand with their feature called the Tower of Babbling.
You know about the biblical truth of the Tower of Babel. A Disciple's View presents
The president takes shouting questions. I understand, John. I understand. I've dealt with this question about 3 times already. I understand. It is.
The Tower of Babbling.
3 sound bites in today's Tower of Babbling. This is a kids teaching moments, courtesy of Protestia.com. At an event that this UMC church put on, this woman rambled on for about 15 minutes about the LGBTQ so-called T flag.
And in 1978, a long time ago, there was a whole group of people that felt like society did not give them the rights that regular people had, and particularly people who decided to spend their lives living and loving someone of their own sex and living and loving with another man or another woman like themselves.
15 minutes on this in a church. 15 minutes denying God's design for marriage and male-female relationships in a marital sense. Second soundbite in today's Tower Babbling. CNN's Aaron Burnett decided to run cover for the new socialist Seattle mayor-elect Katie Wilson.
I'm curious how you see it, because this is something you've been very open about. Do you think that people in Seattle see this as a negative or as a positive that people can relate to?
Well, I'll say that my opponent's campaign and the corporate PAC that tried to stop my election certainly cast it as a negative thing.
Yeah, the negative thing being this. She's 43. She lives on her parents' dime. Her husband chooses to live on their dime. This woman's entire career portfolio is having run, now listen closely to this phrase, the Transit Riders Union, not a labor union, for transit employees, a union of people who ride buses and choo-choo trains. Last soundbite in today's Tower Babbling. This is Target's new 10-4 policy.
It's effectively a happiness policy. I am 10 feet away from the camera. If I was a store employee and I saw you coming in, I would wave, I would say hi, I would kind of make eye contact with you. If I am now 4 feet away, which would bring me right here, quite up close, I am to interact with you and start a warm and friendly conversation. 10 feet to 4 feet, 10-4. Now, according to Target, they say they know that they are in a race for your dollars, and the latest sales figures show that sales have dropped, so they're trying to figure out a way to boost those numbers.
Gosh, I wonder if forced happiness will work. Hi, how are you? I am so glad you came to shop today at Target, or worse yet, how are you? Glad you came. Maybe just treat people with love. Like maybe there's a thing. Where is that? Oh gosh, it's in the Bible. That masters, employers, treat your servants, employees, as if they were Christ themselves, and employees do the same. Try that. I mean, it's not like God's words has ever failed. And that's a wrap for today's Tower Babbling.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things.
That was the Tower of Babbling on A Disciple's View.
On a personal note today, it's a thing that I get to do, and my pastor asked me about it this morning, and had me make a little video about serving within youth groups. My wife and I have been talking about this a lot, and about ministry, and I'm just realizing, for me, and maybe this is different for you, God gives us these things. People who've been given much is expected. And you could look at that and say, well, that's not really a pejorative, but it's a you must. You've been given a lot, therefore you're gonna do a lot, much is expected. And that's one way to view it, for sure. But not everyone gets to sit around and talk for a living. And I've been given much in that regard. And there's things we're gonna have to change. Podcasting business is changing. AI is changing it. I'm not going to be able to keep my show the same. It's going to have to change. And there's much we've been given. And that to whom much is given, much is expected. I get to sit there and watch God work in the lives of young men. I get to watch God work in the lives of people who've been through the prison system. I get to watch young men reach out to me saying, I get it now. I get it. Man, I need Jesus. I get it. I get to have communications with young men who are trying their very, very best to not reoffend when the entire government system is making sure that they can't go work. I'm telling you, I have a guy I've mentored, is become a friend. And he has had a mighty battle with Satan. And his parole says, yep, you have to stay in the area where you're reoffended. There's no jobs. There are meth heads. There's a camper with no power to live in. There's no jobs. And the parole authorities are saying, no, you can't go to where there's jobs. This guy is not a risk to flee. He turned himself in last time. Went in and said, hey, I'm not making it on probation. I want to go back inside. Turned himself in. I get to watch him text me, say, look, I love this girl. We want to be married. I don't understand marriage. I don't understand what Christian marriage means. I get to watch that. To whom much is given, much is expected. Now, you see, again, we can look at that as a task. It can be God's accounting. Man, I've given you a lot. I need to see a lot out of you. That's one way to view it. I think about my wife and how utterly gifted she is teaching reading. Now, she herself is a great reader. She herself is someone who can pick up knowledge quickly. Like, she decided, you know what, I'm going to rebuild our greenhouse. Oh, honey, you've never built a greenhouse. I'll figure it out. So she took to YouTube and she took to reading, and next thing I know, there she is removing the roof and putting a new roof on, and I'm ashamed to say I didn't do a bunch of that, but I did go out and do some of the heavy lifting, some of the less safe stuff. But she did the whole thing. She told me what to do. I was just a mule. But she's been given a lot there. A lot of mental capacity. Super big brain. Super smart lady. And much is expected. To whom much is given, much is expected. I get to watch children leave my wife's tutoring. I get to watch them run out of the house, dance out of the house, because they have felt affirmed. Because when they walked in and couldn't read at all, and were 2 grade points or 2 grade years behind, not only now can they read, but they can read chapter books. I love that. I read chapter books. This book is too easy. Or they bring their chapter book back 2 weeks later, and it's not even a month, and they've read the whole thing. Or I get to be there when my wife gets texts from parents saying, well, our daughter just finished this book.